Just saying good morning so everybody knows I'm still alive. I want everybody to know I love you and I love the whole world. I'm just going to be myself from now on. There's going to be no more holding back my feelings, so here it is. Divorce in this country is fucked up. You have a disabled person and you have a person that's working. And if it happens to be the female that's working after you couldn't no more but left you before they started working, they don't want to hear nothing. They act like, oh, you're a man, go back to work. You look okay, go back to work. But I'm having seizures. I had a ton of brain surgery. Thank God my hair grew over a lot of it, but you can still see the line right there. Even with my hair grown over it, you can still see my scars. And people like to run around and tell me that I'm an asshole because I wouldn't work. I tried to work. I got hurt twice. And what am I supposed to do when I can't even run a desk? It's a part of life that people don't understand. My pain is ridiculous. I wake up every day in headaches. Some days I can't see straight. And I got lucky in this last year. I'm okay still. I survived being accused of stuff I didn't do. Like, there's a weird thing in this society when somebody leaves with your kids and you happen to be the male that just wants to know what's going on with his kids. They'll put temporary restraining orders on you for text messages, even if there's not one threat in it. And then you got to go to court over and over again because they don't even see the reason for the restraining order. They just want it on file. And now it's all over my record that I had restraining orders. So I look terrible. Even when I get better enough, maybe one day to start working again, that's going to show up in my life. I don't think that's fair. This court system knows I'm sick. I just want it over. And they're dragging you through hearings and stupid stuff like, oh, you got to show up this day. And then 2 months later, you got to show up this day. And it's on the camera, so they don't even have to look you in the eye. So they could just say whatever they want. And they don't have to face the consequences of the person saying something back. This whole new life that we have of people doing court through a phone makes it so the judge doesn't feel like weird when it comes to these cases. They don't want to listen to the man's point of view of what's going on or the fact that he's sick or he wants to keep his stuff because he earned it and he'll never be able to earn it again. And it's very sad to me because I earned everything I have. I was the only one working. And when the other one went to work, would cry about it the whole time that her job's harder than mine. When I was working 12 to 13 hour days and she was working 4. It was kind of ridiculous to me. And this is just my opinion. And my whole life's been held in my face. Like, sorry, bro. It's okay if they took your kid. It's okay if they're teaching your kid that you're a piece of shit because you had brain surgery and you couldn't think straight. Instead of saying nice stuff like, you know what, he was in bad condition, I couldn't handle it, but that's your father, and he loves you more than anything, and he's a little off because of his brain surgeries, which is the truth. I was. Right after my brain surgery, I couldn't get my thoughts together fast enough while people were yelling in my face, so I kept walking away and calling my friends to get my thoughts together, and they got upset about that too. Meanwhile, the only alternative was me yelling and screaming, which I refused to do. You might get a sentence out of me as I walk out the door, because if I know I'm getting there, I leave. And I go out in front of my house and call a friend to calm down, because my friends are the greatest people in the world to me. They hold me up when I'm not sure and confused. And during that time, it was right after 3 brain surgeries. And it was just a weird situation that I tried to work again, so it ain't like I didn't put in my effort. I got a concussion my second day. Still went back to work after that. Was shaking all day long, working 12-hour days because my assistant didn't show up to work. And what else was I going to do? I'm a manager by trade. I've always busted my ass. Even before that, before I got sick, I was driving a bus 12 hours. Like, I was at the shit place 12 hours. And doing 5 runs on most days just so I could make a little extra cash for my kids and working 6 days a week and the bills were a lot less than what was spent. But nobody wants to hear that from me. They say that's what you put up with. I don't understand how they look at a man and go, that's what you put up with. Like, oh, that's the lifestyle they're used to. I'm used to a particular lifestyle too, and it wasn't being given to me. There was zero respect after I got sick. I made a huge mistake and went somewhere I shouldn't have went, and things happened. And I didn't want them. And the person who did it wasn't a bad person. It's just, I had a seizure in their house. I already said no. And it happened anyway. And I was so confused. It was after my first brain surgery 6 years ago. And I even did the right thing and told the truth. And in the end, me telling the truth hurt me more than anything. So it's kind of weird how the honest person in a relationship is the one who suffers. I've been lied to for 20 years. Money taken out of my pocket. I never even looked at it because my kids would threaten to be taken away from me early in the relationship. So my only choice was, who cares about money? Your kids are more important. And I knew the minute that it got ended, I'd be in a situation where I don't see my kids. And in the time it takes for me to get back to my kids, that person could talk in their head over and over again and control them mentally, which is sick. It's a really sick thing. But when you say that in court, they tell you, oh, they don't want to see you. But it's the same kid I sat on the couch and watched everything I could watch with because I love her. My middle kid fell into the trap. And it ruined our relationship probably forever. My love for her is always there, but my trust is gone. And it's a sad thing for me to put out there. I put stuff out in public so people can know what I'm thinking. I don't care if a judge sees this and tries to hold it against me. I'm going to be the most honest man you'll ever meet in your life. Anytime I ever made a mistake in life, I told the truth. I don't hold back. There's no reason to. Like, the way I see life is, if you fuck up in your marriage, you say something. And you do the right thing. If the other side is sitting there stealing from you and everything else, and you don't even know where your money's going because you're scared to look, because you don't want to get into an argument and lose your family, it's sad. I didn't look at my money for about 17 years because I was threatened by a family. And that's okay with people. I wasn't even scared of the family. It's just I couldn't do nothing about it. And it was getting me to a point in my life where it's either just shut your mouth and deal with it or lose your family. And as a guy like me who cares more about kids than they do about themselves, and also care more about their spouse than they do about themselves, this is the hole you fall in. It's a very sad hole. And I'm going to be real with people. If you get married, set your boundaries. Always be middle. And show respect to each other. You're not always going to agree. And threatening to leave the person every time he doesn't agree is wrong. It's called control. If me being the provider threatened to leave every time I didn't like something, considering I was the one that brought the money in, that would be more dangerous than somebody that makes not a dime. And I'm sorry to say, in this situation, that person's making dimes now. I'm not. I'm just getting whatever I could get to keep on my feet because I can't work. I do these videos just to get my stuff out there so people know who I am. I will be married again one day. Hopefully. I will find another woman. And hopefully she's a great woman. I just want somebody who's going to be with me and we could talk things out instead of put on shows and yell in front of your kids and hold knives to yourself and whatever else just to get control of you. There's a weird way to control a man. And girls know it. No disrespect, women. I respect all of you. But some women know how to control somebody. I had a hard life growing up. I was always in a bad position. And a lot of it's my fault. Because I was always worried about other people and not myself. Got involved in stuff I shouldn't have got involved in. And put myself in a position where it was me defending somebody as opposed to them defending me. I did have one person that finally put his hand out And I love him. My man Will. But like at the same time, I was helping him as much as he was helping me because I love his kids like as if they're my sisters. And I always will. There's a weird part of life when you're a guy like me. I'm not your typical hard ass, go fight all the time. I only fought when I had to. I did what I had to do to survive. I've seen things in life that most people are scared of. And to me, they were just things that happen in life. And I have nightmares about it. After my brain surgeries, I had the nightmares constantly. And when I reached out, I was told to shut up and get over it. Which doesn't sound like love to me. And I just didn't pick up on it right away. I was just like, whatever. You're doing it for your kids. It is what it is. And the amount of control that was held over me for 20 years is ridiculous. When I got into a situation where I was, with the girl and she moved out with her kid of a parent's house and told me that she was being hit and beat up by her family after having a kid, and called me while I was at work and told me that she was in danger. So I went and picked her up, not because she was my girl, because she needed help. And this is the situation it got me into when I needed help. And to me, it's sad. And then when you mention that to judges, they tell you, that's the past, this is now. Like, you can't show the whole picture to a judge because they don't want to hold liable the person who bounced. Even if the person bounced, took your kids, and held them away from you by getting restraining orders and whatever else to keep you too scared to even try. And to me, it's disgusting because it came to the point where I texted my kid one day after a judge told me I could and ended up with criminal charges. I have a clean record. Thank God I was able to talk my way through it and tell the truth and show that another judge told me I can talk to my daughters. Just don't be too crazy about it. And I wasn't. All I did was send my middle daughter pictures of her room to tell her the stuff that they left here is safe. So if she needs it, we'll figure out a way for her to pick it up. And I ended up getting criminal charges for trying to be a good man. To me, it's a disgusting way of life. No matter what you do, you're going to be held to a point where no matter if you're trying to do the right thing or not, yes, I've said some things I shouldn't have said, but that was after I was poked at over and over again after brain surgery. I should not have to look in a house where I live with my family while they're screaming and yelling after you had brain surgery. And they tell you, particularly the person I was with, that they have to effing live. And just because I'm sick don't mean they don't have to. They have to be a little more nice or give me some consideration, considering the amount of consideration I gave people. And then my kids started hating me because I kept telling them to quiet down because I was in pain. And when I said quiet down, I meant stop running in the house by my bedroom door. And in the end, they said I was bullying because I was in pain, begging people to give me some consideration like I have for them in the past. And to me, it's just a weird situation of being hit by somebody, having my door punched in because they didn't like what I had to say about them misbehaving in a way that was disgusting to somebody who just got out of surgery and was being showed zero consideration for his pain. And everybody's like, well, you shouldn't have. And when I say everybody, I just mean my family. Everybody on the outside of the picture, when I tell them the whole situation, understand. You just had brain surgery. It's major surgery. I lost the front left lobe in my brain. And still no consideration through the courts. I find that very offensive and disgusting. I just survived brain cancer. Can't work. Disabilities holding out as long as they can because they don't want to pay anybody, even if you did work your whole life and put into it. They don't want to pay you when it's time. And to be real, if I could ever work again, I will. I'm no punk. Never was. I don't like the idea of taking... I still call Social Security welfare. I don't want to live on welfare the rest of my life. I'm just not good enough to work. And their temporary disability is only 6 months. So it ain't even like this state of New Jersey will hold up people who went through major surgery long enough for them to try to find their way. And honestly, I can't find my way. Medicine changes. I still have seizures every once in a while. Thank God my seizures aren't bad enough that I'm on the floor shaking. I feel bad for anybody like that. God bless you. I hope everything works out for you. And in the end, you're okay. I never thought in my life I was in the best shape of my life when I got sick. I was lifting weights 6 days a week. Now I'm like 40 pounds heavier than I was because I can't work out. I just started again today, hitting the exercise bike for an hour and just doing my sit-ups. And it took everything I had. And people don't understand, it's been over a year since my last surgery. And I just got to the point where I could even ride an exercise bike once in a while and stay awake all day. But my family couldn't even hold up for me until I got better. All they did was hold words against me after I was attacked mentally over and over again. And when I say mentally, when you beg your spouse to work because you don't feel good enough to work, and they tell you that you're being a lazy B word or bitch, or whatever they called me, or I married a man who was tough. It's kind of a weird thing. So I was good enough when I could work, but not good enough afterwards. The disgustingness of this, it's eating at me. It ain't even a matter of wanting my family back at this point. My stepdaughter moved back in with me, and she's been with me since she's 3 months old, so she's my daughter. She did nothing to me, but I watched things happen to that kid that I never liked. Her mother was very hard on her, and she was born sick. But like any other kid, she didn't want to take medicine all the time. The medicine made her feel terrible and dragged out. And it's understandable, logically. I understood she needed it. But at the same time, when it came to a point where you're trying to give it to her and she's literally fighting you, you can't beat the kid up so you can give her medicine. That's just ridiculous. And I only put my hands on my kids one time. And that's because the kid was yelling in my face. And all I did was hold the kid down and tell her to stay in her room. No punching, no kicking, no pain. I'm a straightforward man. I always told my kids since they were young, I'm going to say how I feel about it. Mom's going to say how she feels about it. And find your middle. But the house rules are the house rules. So as long as you live with somebody, there's going to be rules you don't like. And that's the truth. You don't get to make your own life until you make your own life. You don't get to grow up and go, well, I'm 19 years old now. I could do what I want. And then expect to live with somebody. When I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I moved out. And I don't want to hear it's too expensive. It might be too expensive where you live. But on the real, you can live. It might not be perfect. But if you want to make your own rules, you got to find your own place. I had to. I don't want to hear it was 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Bottom line is this. My parents, anytime I fell off because my money was being spent insufficiently, my parents aren't perfect. But they were nice enough to let us live in their house, unlike her parents. And her parents would look at me like I'm a bum because I'm sick. But I supported your daughter and a kid that wasn't mine all these years. You had me threatened by outside people, and I did nothing about it. And not because I'm scared, but because I don't want to get in trouble. See, I'm a smart person. Going to jail is stupid. So when it got to that point and I had kids in the house, guess what? I stopped beating people up when I almost hurt somebody bad. I've been boxing my whole life. I've been fist fighting my whole life. I stopped the minute a kid moved in with me because that was the right thing to do as a man. So, bottom line is this, and this is what I want people to understand about me. I'm a good man. I'm better than most in a lot of ways. And there's so many beautiful women out there. When I say beautiful, I'm not talking your looks. Good women who don't have a good man. Because I hate to say it, but the way society's treating men, most men don't want to fall into that pit. And that's why things are getting worse. I believe in lifetime marriage and you work your way through stuff. But that's because I was raised right. My parents raised me right. They might have did it in an infallible way, but they wanted their son to be a good man. And you know what? I am a good man. I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't beat people up. I supported my wife and my kids for 20 years. And when the help was offered, there was trouble made so that she could quit. And there was just a lot of weird stuff going on since day one. I wanted my wife to work since she moved in with me. And every time she went to work, she told me she was sexually harassed. Most women who are actual women would report it so their husband doesn't get upset. That way their husband ain't put in a position where he feels like he has to defend his wife. Most women understand that when you tell your husband that, he feels he needs to defend your honor. And then when you get him to the point where you think that, oh, I can't work because of how he acts, maybe it's how you act. Telling the man things so he's scared for you to work. But it's all what I did. I defended my wife. I didn't want her in danger. I was making $1,400 a week after taxes and had full insurance when I was driving a bus. And my rent for 6 years of that was $1,200 a month with everything included. And I still had no savings. Yes, I had one car payment, but it was $500. So our total bills besides cell phones was $1,700 a month. And people tell me, well, the kids need this, the kids need that. If you took 2 of my checks a year, you'd be able to buy the kids all the clothes they want. $3,000 on clothes a year for 3 kids, a G a kid. And if you only have one person working, is a joke. But all that money disappeared over these years. And when I ask questions about it, I get told lies. As a spouse, I had credit cards opened under my name without my permission. I had student loans taken under my name without my permission when I was getting financial aid. And in the end, it turned out to I had to do it. Never consulted with me, put it on their own email so I'd never see it, and locked their phone so I never saw the messages coming. And this was after 10 years ago. I caught them making plans to meet up with a guy. It was funny though, because when I made my mistake, I had to tell everybody because that's who I am. Because I apologized to a father like a man and said I fucked up and went somewhere I shouldn't have. I didn't want what happened to happen. I said no. I had a seizure and then was misunderstood. So I don't even blame the person anymore. Because maybe after my seizure, I was confused, and this was after my first brain surgery. People don't understand who I am, and I'm just putting myself out in public because I don't want anybody to think bad of me. I have a dog in my house right now that's basically can't walk and making messes in my house, and I still won't put her down. And it's not even my dog, it's hers. I got the dog for her, not for myself. I live in a place in this world where you do for others and not for yourself. So, guys and ladies, I'm just trying to show you the male perspective of young ladies and older ladies. And using yourself to control a man is wrong. Just like a man using violence or scaring people is wrong. I never did that. I was accused of it for not agreeing. If you don't agree, that don't make you a bad person. I'm just giving my point of view and always told, oh, so you're against me. Talk about control, yo. control. You didn't want to upset your wife because you're a good man. And anytime you didn't agree, it was you're using this against me. Or you don't love me if you don't agree with me. I am so stupid. I never noticed that's what it meant. It was just a control method. And I'm hearing this from a legit counselor and psych. I do go to a psychiatrist now because it's important. I was damaged pretty bad from these 20 years. Threatened, people trying to provoke me to fight when I know I can, and I still didn't do it. Anybody who knows me knows what I'm made of. Before these surgeries, I would have took a beating and a half just to give one, and it wouldn't have bothered me a second, even if I lost. I'm originally from Jamaica, Queens, then Brooklyn, then Staten Island. I'm no punk. I was born in Coney Island Hospital. So if people want to say I'm lying, I lived on Jamaica Avenue in the 80s when I was real little, and I saw things that most people don't survive seeing, and I'm still not a drug addict. I don't drink every day. I'll have a drink once a month. And this is after all this torture has been going through me. And people think I don't drink because my seizure meds. Trust me, if I wanted to get drunk, I'd do it with the seizure meds and not give two craps. But I don't, because it's not who I am. I don't have to drink myself stupid to get through life. I smoke cigarettes because I like cigarettes. I've liked them since I'm 10 years old. I quit for 10 years before I found out I had brain cancer. They told me I was going to die. So I was like, if I'm going to die in a year, might as well smoke cigarettes. You love them. And that's the only reason I started over again. But I know this video is long and boring, so I'm going to let everybody go. God bless everybody. And please just take my thoughts, whether you're male or female, and think. If you're married, please work on it. Because I still think marriage is very important in life. Love is very important in life. And I hope everybody finds happiness. I still encourage my kids to find the right people and one day get married so you can have a normal life. Our society is so stuck on bullshit and pressing single moms everywhere. And yo, anybody that's a single mom, mad respect. I have nothing but love for you. You guys take care of your kids and have to be a man and a woman. But at the same time, you understand that. People that had a man and try to tell me that they were basically single moms because I was working 15 hours a day. It's the most disgusting thing I ever heard in my life. Because your bills are paid, I'm still going to those kids' games when I get home from long days of work, helping you coach teams and everything else. And I was told I was lazy. You're the housewife. No disrespect to you. Do what you want. But the house was always trashed. So you never did your job, yo. Let's be real here. I clean a house in 15 minutes a day. My house is always clean. So you couldn't find 15 minutes to run through your house? Come on. I just don't understand how people think. And I never even argued about the mess. Because I realized if I did, my kids were going to be dragged out of my house. And I'd probably never see them again. Just like now. I haven't seen my 16-year-old daughter in almost a year. I saw her one time. Because all the crap that's being talked in her head. Me and her used to sit on the couch, laugh, joke around, and watch movies every time I got home. And watch TV. And when I say TV, I'm talking, she was into Marvel. You know, it's just a weird thing for me. That a kid that I never fought with once doesn't talk to me no more. It sounds like they're being mentally screwed with. But at the same time, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. The courts allow women to run with your kids and have two of them sleep in a garage and the other one sleep on her bed, but won't send them home. I even offered to let them come back to the house and stay here. And I'll find a place to sleep. And ended up in a mental place because I said I really have not much to live for. Which is kind of important considering I lived only for my family. And I busted my ass for my family. And they took that as a suicide thing. I got out of the hospital in 12 hours. It was no big deal. I never held everything for myself. I don't believe in myself when it comes to needs. Yeah, I have my toys here and there, but those toys actually supported me this whole time. I've been selling my toys because I paid nothing for them, and I made enough money to pay my gas and electric for the last year. So, guys, God bless everybody. I like to put my whole situation out there so there isn't no misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is this: I provided, they wouldn't when I needed them to. That's not too much to ask for after 3 major brain surgeries, and you tried to work and couldn't. My doctor even said to go back to work part-time, and somebody took it as I could work full-time because you're tough. That's what I was told. You're tough. I didn't marry you because you're a punk. Yeah. And if anybody says I'm lying, I have it recorded, because Dyfus came to my house after somebody else did very malicious things in front of my kids. And all I did was argue that what you're doing is wrong. Thanks for the help. Because I was sad, because I thought when you do for somebody, they do for you. I thought when you pick somebody up 20 years ago and they don't even have a high school diploma, and now you have a college degree, because I was supporting you the whole time, that it was just my turn to get help. And I don't feel that's wrong. Yo, God bless everybody. Please state your opinions under my video. I would appreciate it so I know what I'm thinking is right or wrong. God bless you. Always feel him. If it wasn't for God, I'd be a mean man, and thank God I'm not. It gives me somebody to turn to when I really feel alone. And thank you, G-Baby, for living with me again. I love you, kid. I know I'm a good dad. I know I am. I just tell my kids the truth so they don't do what I did as a young man, and tell them about my past so they understand how hard I had it, and I still maintain focus. So if they have a hard time, they find a way to maintain focus. So God bless everybody. Always maintain focus. Women and men, you're both very good people. I'm just trying to give you a perspective so you can learn from it. If it sounds dumb to you, I apologize. Take care. God bless again.